Helen Yee here with Eyes on the Game here at Mayweather Boxing Club, being joined by the amazing world champion Layla McCarter. Now, you just fought in March, but a quick turnaround for you. You have another fight coming up in June. Can you kind of talk a bit about that?
Yes, June 16th in Karlsruhe, Germany. I'm going to defend my 2 world titles in the welterweight division that I won in March 3rd in Colorado. I'm very excited to fight in Germany in front of my German fans and friends, and I'm going to have a good time over there.
Yeah, and what do you think about your opponent, though?
I don't know her. There's no footage of her, but I know that she lacks the experience. She's 10-1. She's rated number 9 or 10 in the various organizations. And I don't underestimate anyone, but I have a ton of experience, and that will be the big factor in this fight.
Well, I know you are a seasoned veteran, but how do you prepare for someone like that where, like you just mentioned, there's not much footage of her out there? And, you know, has this occurred frequently that you have to fight an opponent who you're kind of unsure of?
Not super frequently, but I have a lot of confidence in my abilities and in my training, and I've been a pro for so long that it doesn't matter who they put in front of me. I'm training for the very best, and so it is a bit unnerving fighting someone you've never seen before. But I'm preparing for King Kong or whoever they put in front of me, so I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, and looking at this year, looking ahead, because I know you've been under the Mayweather Promotions banner for a little over a year. Can you kind of talk about, how that experience has been and how many times you're looking to fight this year?
It's been great being a part of the money team and, being under Floyd Mayweather's banner. I've been a big fan and friend of Floyd's for many years, and, having his name behind mine is a great thing. I was hoping to be more busy this year, but we had one fight with Mayweather in April this year, and meanwhile I've been staying busy also on my own, going to Mexico and fighting. In Colorado, I won those 2 more titles, and now we're going to Germany again. So, but I just got to keep moving forward, regardless what happens, and we hope for bigger things with the big fights with Floyd.
And speaking of big fights, though, and big names, one of them in particular, I know you've kind of mentioned her for quite some time now, and she did mention your name, I believe, back in December in an interview, the First Lady, Cecilia. So what do you think of her? And she just fought not too long ago.
Cecilia Braekhus has done a lot in the sport. She's undefeated. She's fought a lot of people in Europe, and but the bottom line is that hasn't fought the number 1 in her division, and she's been avoiding that fight for 4 years, I believe. But it's not as simple as somebody ducking somebody else. I hate to say that, because there's a lot more factors in play, like promotion and money. And I believe that when the conditions are right, that fight will happen. I mean, I have to believe that, and I think she will step to the plate when the time is right. So I'm just being patient. I'm winning. I'm watching, and I saw her last fight against Kelly Reese. Didn't impress me a whole lot. So, but I hope we can get that fight happening this year.
Now, has there been any talk behind the scenes at all in regards to that?
Oh yeah, there's been a lot of talk, with Showtime boxing, and our promoters have been back and forth, but so far there's been no agreement made. I know that the money is there and available within Showtime boxing to make this fight happen. Unfortunately, Braekhus was demanding over 7 figures when they went to talk with Showtime, and that's just unrealistic for this day and this time. But I think that they would pay us more than enough money to make it a worthwhile fight for either one of us, because she's never made that type of money, and it could be a big fight here. We just have to get down to earth and make it happen. And
get all the negotiations and logistics squared away. So, in general, though, when do you foresee that fight, happening?
My hope would be that it would be happening in September, because, the big fights happen in May and September on the Mexican holidays. Yeah. And, like with Canelo and Triple G was supposed to happen. So I'm hoping September at the earliest, and at the latest, early next year.
And speaking of Canelo Triple G, what are your thoughts of kind of, everything that occurred about the drug tests and everything? And
I think it's interesting that they didn't approve the fight. I mean, that the Athletic Commission actually went the correct way in not sanctioning the fight when he had failed the drug test. So good props to the Nevada State Athletic Commission for doing the right thing, and hopefully they can make that happen later when everything is clear.
And another fight that is kind of in the talks of maybe happening, Chris Cyborg, UFC women's featherweight champion, says that in 2019 she wants to fight Cecilia and kind of cross over into boxing. And again, I mean, it's nothing new. We see boxers, MMAs crossover all the time. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm not a big fan of the crossover fights. I really think that people need to stay in their lane. But if she wants to come over and into boxing, Cyborg, I think there's a pecking order here. Like people that are in line for certain fights, and big fights in the women's boxing game belong to the women's boxers first. But if there's a deal made, I mean, good for them. I hope that it's equitable for everybody, and I don't know what to say about that.
Yeah, and what do you think about kind of the growth in women's boxing now?
I think it's great to see the sport evolve, and that there's female Olympians and women's fighters turning pro now. There's a big growth in women's televised fights, especially in New York on the East Coast, also in California, Michaela Meyer and those girls. Ireland's Katie Taylor has made a big impact on big shows. So it's amazing to see, and I just hope it keeps going up and that women eventually get the pay that they deserve.
Aside from Cecilia, are there other big names that you have in mind too?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Cecilia is the big one and is in my weight class. It's only logical. I'm the #1 welterweight. She's the unified title holder. So, and I've got a couple belts in the welterweight myself. So I think that we could make the biggest fight. But there's also possibilities with moving down in weight as Katie Taylor evolves and grows in the sport. If she gets some more fights, we can make a big fight with her. I could move up in weight and fight Clarissa Shields, although that is a big weight jump. But all these fights can be done, and I'm ready for all of it. So.
And lastly, what do you have to say to all your fans and supporters?
I appreciate everybody for supporting me through the years. It's been a long career. It's been a great ride, 20 years, and I'm still feeling better than ever. So I appreciate you guys coming out each and every time, and all the positive support on social media. It's just been incredible having you guys on my side. So thank you very much.
She did tweet both you and Cecilia today.
That's just, it's a business, it's a sport, but I'm game to fight anybody, any weight, anywhere. And Cyborg knows that. I'm a fan of hers in the UFC, and I hope that, if nothing else, we can make a show happen. I'm game. My ears are open for any offers, and hopefully we can make something happen with her or anybody else.
Yeah, and now when you say, obviously, if the conditions and the money's right, I mean, is there a range you have in mind right now?
Not specifically, but it'd have to make sense all around. Of course, for the Cecilia Braekhus fight, we're talking big money for her and I to fight. So, but with Cyborg would also be a good money fight. She's the top of the UFC. I'm in the top of the boxing game. I think we should push to make the best money possible. But I'm not going to be unrealistic. I mean, I'm not going to be like Braekhus demanding over $1 million to start. But, I mean, we can get in the hundreds of thousands for that kind of fight.
And if the negotiations are right, maybe a possible 2019 super fight?
Possibly. Who knows? Maybe 2018. We can get it done sooner than later. I don't have a whole lot of time to waste. So, yeah, let's get it on.
And you're ready for sure.
I'm ready for anything. So let's do this.